Hey guys, SpinoDude here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Eofauna Atlasaurus. Alright guys, are you ready to be introduced to one of the best dinosaur figures on the market ever? This Atlasaurus is absolutely incredible, but before we jump in and take a look at the figure itself, let's take a look at the collector's card that comes with it. All Eofauna figures come with collector cards. They all have this interesting little shuriken point system going up on the top left. The Atlasaurus has 4 1/4 shurikens going for it there. The artwork is absolutely gorgeous, and what I love about the artwork, so if we bring in the figure briefly, is they match the art with the actual pose of the figure. So you can see it's absolutely perfect when comparing the posture of the animal and the figure with the art, and I think that's awesome how they show the animal in the same pose just in a really natural situation in this forest here. You even have a pterosaur flying ahead, and there's actually 2 of them. There's one grazing there, and there's one walking in the foreground. It looks beautiful. You can see it says Atlasaurus. It's got the full name there. Discovered in North Africa, and there's a bunch of other stats on the bottom. If you want to pause the video to read those, you can. It says Eofauna on the back, of course. But that's the collector's card. The collector's cards are just fantastic additions to the figure as a whole. And here we have the Atlasaurus itself. Now, I wasn't too fussed on this one when I first saw it. I actually never heard of Atlasaurus outside of Eofauna replicating this genus in figure form here, and I thought it looked really, really strange. I thought the body looked way too big, the limbs were too long, the tail looked really kind of strange as well. The neck was just way too thin at the base and really short, and it just looked wrong as a sauropod to me. But I did look at some of the source material that Eofauna used and the skeletals of this animal, and this is what it looked like. It was just a strange looking sauropod. And Eofauna just really nailed their replication of this genus from the material that they had. And if you don't know how Eofauna makes their actual figures, what they do is they build the animal from the bones to the muscles, and then they add the skin and the coloration and everything in the computer. So you know you're getting a fantastic figure, because these aren't hand sculpted. These are literally built from the bones themselves. And oh my goodness, just for first impressions, this figure is just wonderful. It's so natural and just elegant looking. The coloration here is also incredible. I wasn't too fussed on the colors when I first saw it. I love the colors on the body, the different tones of green in here mixed throughout. They really didn't skip anything with the paint or the detail, and we'll get into the detail in a minute. My favorite part is the head, which I wasn't too sold on at first with that banding going on, but the head looks absolutely gorgeous. We have this darker blue color that transitions from the green up onto the neck. The band around the neck is fantastic, of course. The yellow around the eye and the yellow on the nasal ridge on the head there looks beautiful. So yeah, the coloration is an absolute win. It's very interesting to look at, but it's not too out there, if you know what I mean. There's some exotic color schemes that are just a little bit too much for me, but this one's really creative, but you can totally see an animal like this having these colors. It's wonderful. So anyway, I mentioned the detail briefly. Let's zoom in and take a look at that. I mean, just look at this, guys. All of these different sized and different shaped scales throughout the body. This is some of the best, if not the best detail I've ever seen on a dinosaur figure. It's beyond incredible what they've done here. I love the larger osteoderms running down the back as well. Very sauropod-like, and the wrinkles and folds mixed in with all those scales. Just look at how that leg is pulling back and stretching the skin. You can totally see this animal in motion. It is wonderful. And the tone musculature in the legs is phenomenal as well. You can just see the legs carrying all the weight of this massive sauropod. And that's what I love about Eofauna figures, is you can totally see them in motion. The feet are also beautifully detailed. This figure is very stable, but the feet are not oversized whatsoever. And you can see for a sauropod, this animal is fairly thin. Lots of sauropods tend to be a bit on the wider side, especially around the midsection, but this one is pretty tall and lanky. The feet look beautiful. I especially love the claws on the back feet. Those are beautifully done, and I really like how this foot is being pushed back and the way that interacts with the ground when you place the figure down. Like I said, you could just totally see this thing in motion. It looks wonderful. The tail has nice detail on it as well, and one thing people were worried about is if the tail was actually going to touch the ground to aid in stability, but it doesn't. It just is barely off the ground. If I tilt the camera down here, you can see it right there. This figure is totally standing on all four legs, with the tail just off the ground there. I also really like how the tail transitions from the mixture of the different greens and the creamy colors in the body down into this dark green towards the tip. And then the last thing we really need to take a look at here is that head sculpt. Oh, the head on this thing is absolutely gorgeous. The eye here is also done in a yellow color, which I think works out really well, and an overall concept that seems like it would be a little strange against the yellow markings around the eye, but I think it looks very natural. I love the little gradient between the yellow and the bluer color on the face. It makes kind of a slight green color transitioning between those two, and I think it works out really well, and it just has a little bit of a different gradient color to the face overall. And there's a look at the head from the other side as well. The eye on mine on this side is a little bit messed up. It looks like some paint on the pupil was scraped off a little bit, but it's really not too noticeable. The head is so small as well. I mean, just look at my finger next to it. And there's so much detail packed into here. And once again, I adore the banding on the neck as well. Well, guys, I think that really covers everything that I have to say on this Atlasaurus. Overall, this is a spectacular figure, and I think every dinosaur fan should have this in their collection. This is the best sauropod figure that I've ever seen. It is one of the best dinosaur figures that I've ever seen. Now, I don't know too much about Atlasaurus as a genus besides briefly looking at the fossil material, and everything really matches up here with what Eofauna has created. I mean, Eofauna has yet to make a dud figure. They've done an absolutely incredible job so far. This one has dethroned my previous favorite figure from them, which I'll bring up for a quick comparison here, which was their Palaeoloxodon. And the Palaeoloxodon is so close. It's so close to being my favorite over the Atlasaurus, but just having a definitive, like, sauropod figure in my collection, like a definitive dinosaur figure for one group of the animals, it's just amazing. Like, no other sauropod figure comes close to this Atlasaurus for me. It's a work of art. This is just a work of art right here. Eofauna, if you're watching this, don't stop what you're doing. You have yet to make a bad figure. Anyway, I'm kind of ranting on here. But in case you're wondering how large this figure is, this is also one of the tallest figures that I have in my collection. But in terms of the length, we are looking at probably about 12.5 inches. It's longer than the ruler, which is about 33 centimeters. And in terms of the height at the highest point, which is the top of the head, we are looking at about 9.25 inches, which is about 23 centimeters. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this review of the Eofauna Atlasaurus. Once again, Eofauna, don't stop doing what you're doing. This is an incredible work of art. If you're a dinosaur fan, all I can say is you've got to get this one. You have to get this one. I feel like with a lot of figures that I review on this channel, I'm like, well, if you like this and you like this, then this is the figure for you. But if you don't like this, then this is not the figure for you. No. If you like dinosaurs, you need to get this figure. It's absolutely amazing. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed. Let me know if you have this one, and if you don't have this one, get it. I'm gonna be on top of you. You need to get this figure. So thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you liked, and I'll see you guys in my next video. So take care, and bye-bye.